Hello everyone and welcome along to round 3 of the ULC Championship here on PS4 from the legendary Silverstone circuit. What a fantastic place to come for motorsport. It is the home of Formula 1 and it's the home for many of these racing leagues here tonight. We have got everyone, British leagues, apart from, of course, the Flying Dutchman who won last time out on their debut, and the Spaniards who sit at top of the standings. So can the British fans tonight get exactly what they're looking for with a home win for one of these British leagues? Well, let's get started by having a look at the the standings, the team standings here tonight. It is the SML lads, SML Carey and SML Marchetti for MGP on the very top with 55 points. The Spaniards leading the way. Then it's SLR Straight Line Racing in second with 32 points. 23 of the runaway leaders at the moment. Then it's SRL with Matt Meerkat and Skeven, remember, winning in the first race before retiring in dramatic circumstances at the Spanish Grand Prix last time out. Then it's Flores and Gemzo, the two Dutch drivers making their debut last week, 25 points, straight onto the board and straight into the top 4 in those standings. Then it's the ILR lads, it's Shimasi and Ace of Pace, yet to fill their potential, in my opinion. What will they do tonight? Can they put on a show in front of the British crowd? Then it's Tempfear and Stockey for the UPL. A little bit of a rivalry starting to emerge between ILR and UPL. Those two already in a rivalry, with a little bit of beef between the leagues prior to this one starting, shall we say. And then they were battling hard in the closing stages of that Spanish Grand Prix. Then it's Pitmat and Tiger Cup for IF, next in line in 7th place in the standings. Then Soft Cup and JD for TGP in 8th in the standings. Then it's Mr. Stem and Shortbread for PSGL, only 1 point on the board. And then ARC, who just don't seem to bother turning up. ARC not here again, and I have to feel that they might just be dropping out of this championship. But yes, the cars out on racetrack here at the brilliant Silverstone circuit. And some sensational corners on this racetrack. The Maggots and Beckett section right up there with some of the best in the world. Brilliant place. I really recommend it if you're a big fan of Formula 1 to get down there and watch the drivers head through that sequence of track, especially in these 2017 cars. They really are something to behold. As we watch Stockey then of the UPL in the McLaren coasting round then onto the back of that hangar straight now, where we will see a lot of overtaking in the race. He's not opening the DRS just yet, warming up the tyres, but there is a DRS area of the track. We've been watching Tier 1 and 2 on the Xbox, and there's been a lot of racing going down into Stowe Corner. Some real side-by-side action, and hopefully we will see more of the same. Arctic Devils making his debut for the IF League tonight, so he'll be hoping to put on a good show. Technica for straight line racing in the Haas. They're all out there going slowly on their warm-up laps. Let's just get the graphics up that you all like to see. Super soft tyres for everyone so far, and I think that will be the order of the day, of course, until after qualifying and the race starts tomorrow with everyone outside the top 10 free to choose what tyres they want. As we now watch Stockey start a flying lap around this Silverstone circuit. He's gone through the high-speed turn 1 and 2 and now into the loop. And it's all about getting a great exit out of here in the race if you're chasing someone down. And then this is probably the other main overtaking area on this racetrack. Down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands and Luffield corners. Great area for the fans to stand and watch. It feels like a really enclosed section, a real stadium-like atmosphere down here when action happens in the races. And Stockey sends his car out of there. Home league race for these guys, the UPL lads, and home race for Stockey himself, being from the UK as well, as he heads down, fresh from his podium last time out, looking to go 1 or 2 better, as Carey puts the first time on the board, a 1:27.3, and SML Marchetti, his teammate, the two Spaniards then, putting the first times on the board, and early signs show that they mean business here this afternoon. It's Carey, and now Shimasi for ILR pops into 2nd place, just a tenth away from Carey. So early signs show that the Spaniards aren't going to have it all their own way here this weekend. So Carey on top, Shimasi 2nd, Marchetti 3rd, and Tempfear goes 4th quickest, Ace of Pace 5th, Chumas 2nd, Skeven only 7th, the winner in the opening round at Melbourne. So where is Stockey? We pick him back up then, coming round the final corner, heading for the line, and he goes 7th quickest. And as we've just seen, Jake Davis of TGP goes 6th quickest. So there you go, 7 minutes left in the session, well over halfway, and we're starting to see the first real times on the board. Matt Meerkat pops into 11th for SRL, last of the 11 runners thus far, and Technica now up into 5th place as he crosses the line now. So let's have a look at Chimasi going again, but it looks at it, pushing very hard as he flies through Maggots and Beckett's, really wringing the neck out of that Renault. He's running a little bit wide, he's losing it, he's off! Off goes Chimasi, and he knocks into the tyre wall, heart in the mouth of all those down in ILR. They will not be happy about that. Thankfully, he gets it out of the gravel and out of the grass without sustaining too much damage. I think Bruno Senna once done it down there in free practice, and Chimasi, yeah, just losing it on the exit of the corner, asking a little bit too much, and off he went, as now the two Dutch drivers show their hand. We've got Gemzo going quickest and Flores going second quickest. What a story that is. The two Dutch drivers really showing what they're capable of, and I should also note, you will be able to see from these onboard cameras, both Dutch drivers are running black helmets here tonight as a mark of respect, because one of their friends in the Race Stars League lost their mother, and they are showing some great solidarity and great support for him. So that's a really nice gesture, and I tell you what, they're really putting on a fine performance here as well. So well done to those guys. That's a really nice touch. That's what it's all about, the Formula 1 community, the ULC community, and as you can clearly see, the Race Stars community. All about solidarity, support and good friendship. So great to see there. With 5.5 minutes to go, those two are the shining lights in the session. First and second for the two Dutch drivers. Then it's Carey, the Spaniard, and Chimasi in fourth. So it has to be said, it's quite concerning for those British fans. It's a Dutch 1-2 and a Spaniard in third. So they're not getting what they wanted just yet. But everyone out there, well, everyone's coming into the pits, it would seem, apart from one man, Sovkop of the TGP, who's on an outlap at the moment. He had a lot of issues getting home from work in time to make these events, and thankfully he's made it tonight. So what can he do? What kind of pace has Sovkop got? Multiple champion in the TGP series, very, very quick on his day. Now, how much practice has he been putting in? Has he got the pace to move up into the top 5 or 6 places? Let's find out what the Sovkop can do. The man from Nottingham heads out of the final couple of corners, not too far away from Silverstone at all, and across the line to start the flying lap then of this circuit, down towards Abbey, high speed, one of the fastest turn ones on the calendar, through Farm and down into the loop. And Sovkop looking pretty clean, pretty tidy in that Mercedes so far. And then exiting out of here, climbing up through the gears, losing the rear end ever so slightly. Was Sovkop there. These hybrid cars, these V6 engines, really do like to accelerate quickly, and it's really difficult for the drivers to control. But of course, with these grippier rear tyres, it is a little bit easier than it was before. As Sovkop negotiates Luffield and climbs up through the gears once again, through Woodcote. The fans cheering him on in the grandstand. TGP really need a lift. They've only got 8 points so far on the board. As he goes flying through Cop's corner. What a sight that is. Now into Maggots and Beckett. This is what separates the men from the boys. Sovkop absolutely on it, pushing like a maniac through there. The Mercedes engine singing its heart out as he climbs up through the gears, down the hanger straight. Another great vantage point there on the left-hand side there, really close to the cars you can get. And now into Stowe corner, absolutely throwing it in. This is a super effort from Sovkop. Where's it going to put him, the TGP driver? Final couple of corners now, Club and Vale. And he keeps the momentum going there. Sovkop out of the final corner. Can he put the car anywhere near the front of the field? Up to the line. It's only 14th quickest, 1.3 away. It looks quick, but that just tells you the quality of the field here today is so impressive. And Sovkop, what looked like a reasonably tidy lap, has only landed on 14th quickest. But you have to look at that. Only 1.3 covering the entire field. And that promises to make things really interesting in the race tomorrow. We lost Shotbread early on. He's in the garage. I don't quite know what happened to him. With 2 minutes and 40 left, let's have a quick rundown of the order as the cars get ready to start their final runs of the session. It's Gemzo and Flores leading the way for Race Stars. Then it's Carey in third and Chimasi in fourth for the Isla. Then it's SML Marchetti, the other Spaniard, in fifth. 10th tier set, Technica is seventh. Ace of Pace is 8th, JD 9th, and Stocky rounding out the top 10. Then it's the turn of Chumas in 11th. Skeven only 12 at the moment. He'll be looking for some major improvements because that is not at all what we expect from him. Remember, winner in the opening race of the championship. Sam Bamker is 13th, Soft Cup 14th, we've just seen his lap, and Matt Meerkat 15th. So right now, things not looking too good at all for the SRL lads. They really need to improve. Only 12th and 15th at the moment as we watch SML Marchetti saw his way through the tricky Brooklands and Luffield corners. And that car really not looking tidy at all through there. A bagload of understeer. And he now heads down into Cops Corner in that Williams and using all the curb and more, trying to open up that corner as best he can to slingshot his way down into Maggots and Beckett's, and through he goes. And look at that, absolutely planted, as is everyone on this racetrack at the moment. Oh, I say that, maybe that's the commentator's curse, and he nearly does what Shimasi did earlier on. Not looking a little bit ragged there on the exit from the SML Marchetti. Unlikely that he's going to go any quicker with his carry. He's out there as well. He was the second man to see the line. So we'll be keeping an eye on him in a few moments' time. But here comes SML Marchetti, the Spanish driver, trying to spoil the British party. The Dutch are already doing it. Can Marchetti go any quicker? He can go up to 4th. So that seems to show me that there's a little bit more in the tank there for the Spaniard, because he seemed to have made a small error. But it's only going to be 4th and no more. Carries back out of his lap. James on Flores about to start theirs. Who's furthest round the track at the moment on a quick lap? Who can we find? Ace of Pace going out well. Stocky's just climbed up into 5th ahead of Shimasi, it would seem. Trying to pick up drivers further round the lap on quick ones. I think the man to watch is Ace of Pace. Pushing hard through Maggots and Beckett's in the Renault. Shimasi, his teammate, currently 6th quickest. Ace of Pace, not been setting the world alight thus far this season. What can he do here today? The Swedish driver driving for ILR as he heads down towards Stowe Corner. Throws it in. Doesn't look as to have carried as much entry speed as other drivers through there. But here he goes. Final couple of corners for Ace of Pace. The fans rise to applaud as he comes out the final corner. They wait in anticipation. The ILR garage waits in anticipation, and Ace of Pace fails to deliver anything. It's only 10th quickest, half a second away though. That just gives you an idea of how tight this field is. Who we got further round? Gemzo's backed out of his lap, so that is no longer a moving target, that 1:27.1. So can his teammate Flores do it for the Dutch drivers? Carey's pushing as well. Stocky's out of the session. Marchetti's out of the session. Shimasi going again. Tempfield going again. Technica as well. Who's furthest round? Stevens had a nightmare. Let's say no more than that. He's out of qualifying. And Matt Meerkat's had a nightmare as well. Flores is out. He's crashed it as well. So the two Dutch drivers, can they be beaten? I think Carey looks like the man, if anyone. He's absolutely flying at the moment, the Spanish driver. The British are nowhere to be seen. The Dutch are on top at the moment, but are the Spanish about to come in and steal a mark here? Carey, the championship leaders, heading for the line, and he heads for pole position. The only man in the 1:26s, a 1:26.977. What a time that is. The Dutch have their head in their hands, and Carey goes quickest. Brilliant effort, and he does what Gemzo and Flores couldn't do in their final laps and nails it. But here comes Shimasi, and he moves up into the top 3 for ILR. Fantastic effort there. We know he's capable of it. He was in the front row last week in Spain, and he delivers here again to get within 2/10 of the pole time. So a real mixture there in the top few places. We've got, well, I say a real mixture. It's good to get Shimasi in there with the Spaniards and the Dutch drivers. So he's the man that the British hopes here at Silverstone are pinning on here, because after that you've got to go down to Technica in 6th place to find another league, which is seen as British I suppose, but it is Carey. What an effort from him, right to the death. Foils the Dutch drivers who were looking oh so good last week in Spain to come from 18th, remember Flores did, 4th on the grid, 18th on the grid to win last week. If you've not seen it, be sure to watch it back. It was an absolute thriller. And going by the way this qualifying is lined up, it's going to be another cracking race tomorrow. The top 12 drivers separated by 0.8 of a second. Worrying times for Skeeven, it has to be said. And Matt Meerkat, SRL will not be pleased with that. Really poor afternoon for them. So if you're asking me to do a who's hot and who's not is certainly the SRL lads. That is not at all what they'd have expected, but great effort from Carey. He puts the Spaniards on pole for tomorrow's race with a sublime effort, and good to see the British fans applauding him, being good sportsmanship there. But there you go. There is the roundup of the order. It's Carey on pole position for MGP. Then it's Gemzo in second. Then it's Shimasi in third, with Flores in fourth. SML Marquette, the other Spaniard, in fifth. Technica starts in sixth. Stocky seventh for the UPL, with his teammate alongside him in eighth. It's Sam Bamked in ninth position, with Jake Davis 10th for the TGP. It's disappointment for Ace of Pace as he's only 11th. Chumas is 12th. Skeven 13th. Soft Cup is 14th. Arctic Devils 15th. Matt Meerkat 16th. And Shortbread didn't set a time. Well, we all know that the weather can really play its hand here at Silverstone. It can really mix things up. Will it mix things up here today? Well, doesn't look like it. Blue sky. Get the strawberries out, folks. Get the strawberries out. Beautiful conditions here for the British Grand Prix. Will it remain that way though? You never know what's going to come round the corner. We've got a fantastic race lined up. And really, really close between all the drivers in the qualifying. As I said, only 8-10s covering the top 12 cars. Anything can happen. And yeah, it promises to be an absolute thriller. Aren't we starting to see a little bit of a pattern emerging here between Tier 1 and Xbox and Tier 1 and PS4? Because we've now got the Dutch drivers and the Spanish looking quick, and you've got SM... Oh, hold on a minute, let's get the start going here. The 5 red lights are on. Carey versus James on the front row. It's Spain against Holland. The lights are out and we are racing. And looks like a great start there from the Dutch driver, trying to get alongside, but there's no way through into turn 1. Do they all make it through safely? Oh no, they don't. Off goes one of the Williams cars there, and Jake Davis as well of the TGP wiped out on the opening lap. That was SML Marquette going off with him. So the championship leaders in the wars early on, but his teammate though has having no such problems. He leads it on the exit of turn 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they run down the hill towards the end of the Hanger, sorry, not the Hanger Straight, the Wellington Straight, and it's Carey in the lead. It's Gemzo second, Shimasi third, and Flores in fourth. Stocky making a move there, and we've got banging wheels there. Flores has dropped down to fifth now, losing another place there to Technica, so not a great start for him. His teammate hot in the heels of Carey at the start of this race, but it looks to me like Ismail Marquette has had a disastrous start. The same cannot be said for his teammate though. He's had the perfect getaway, but he still has Gemzo right on his tail as they head through Maggots and Diggets for the first time. As Ace of Pace and Stocky do battle, and Ace of Pace looks to have got the move back on Stocky as they were dueling moments ago. Down into Brooklyn's corner as Flores now tries to get the move back on Technica. He'll be feeling aggrieved because it looked like Technica forced him right wide as they ran into Lockfield corner. Flores has a look, and I'll tell you guys, you need to watch these Dutch drivers. They do not hold back. They love going for a move anytime they see one, and it looks like there's a pit stop here from Flores. He's damaged the wing, but we have to go back to the front as it's Carey versus Gemzo versus Shimasi, and Flores has damaged the wing. The star last time out from 18th in the grid is going to have to do it all again here today from right down at the back, because he is out of this race, or not out of the race, but certainly out of a running or a chance of winning it, you would feel, as Gemzo and Shimasi get very close in the battle for second and third. Shimasi having a look then as he goes side by side almost, coming out of the loop and down that Wellington Straight, but it is Carey in the lead, pulling out now to 9/10 of a second. Softcop's up to 7th. What a start he's had as Chumas drops down, and Matt Meerkat, he's up a hatful of places as well, having a look at up the inside as well. Chumas tries it on Softcop, nearly a 2, and Chumas running very, very wide, way off the racetrack and dropping down outside the top 10 now, and Arctic Devils moves into the top 10 in his debut. But what a start the likes of Softcop and Matt Meerkat have had. Look at that on the left hand side of your screen. Softcop up 7 places and Matt Meerkat's up 8 places. So superb effort from those guys. But it's all as it was at the front for now. The top 3 unchanged. Carey in the lead, and he's opened out a 2-second advantage. I tell you what, Gemzo's damaged his wing as well. So that's both Silvers, both Dutch drivers in the wars here. They were the stars last time out. They looked so quick, and now they both have front wing damage. And as Gemzo coming in, he is coming in. What a story this is in ULC. Wow, both Dutch drivers in the wars early on, and does that hand us on a plate to Carey? Well, he certainly isn't messing about. A 1:30.337, a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He's already 3 seconds ahead of Shimasi in second, but Shimasi of course following the wounded Sauber driver of Gemzo. So can he now start to reel Carey back in? It's going to be a tall order. If you watch the pre-season race in Bahrain, Shimasi looked pretty quick there, and he was able to reel in the Spanish driver. Can he do it again here today? He's going to have to. ILR yet to really show what they're capable of at this season, but really shining now. We've got Shimasi second and Ace of Pace fourth, and at the moment they stand as the highest scorers coming out of this race, but there's a long way to go. It's only lap 3 out of the 26, and Ace of Pace looking very racy behind Technica as ILR start to really turn the screw in round 3 of the championship. Ace of Pace clearly they're understeering wide, very difficult following behind Technica in the dirt here. We've seen drivers queuing up without really making moves in Tier 2 in particular in the Xbox League earlier on, before it all hell broke loose in the closing stages, it has to be said. But yeah, let's have a little look at the tyre choices there. Look at Softcop and Matt Meerkat, that's another thing we need to watch. They're closely battling each other, but also both on soft tyres, fresh soft tyres, as Matt Meerkat tries around the outside. That looked a little ambitious, and he ends up now having to look in his mirrors at 10th Fear coming at him. So the race shaping up nicely. Carey looking to break away out front, but Shimasi going to try and peg him around that 3-second marker and come back at him later on in this race. Let's have a look at the fuel level. Shimasi 0.7 in his pocket, in lean at the moment, and also running in lean is Carey, 0.6 in his pocket, so no real differences there in the fuel. Technica still clinging on in third position with the Ace of Pace on his tail, then Stocky, and Stocky's starting to make a move now, starting to come towards these two, and is he moving himself into position for another podium position, and that will really please the UPL if he could do that. 5th place at the moment for him, and a real battle beginning to shape up there. But Softcup and Matt Meerkat, we have to watch these guys on fresh softs that they started the race on, and already up to into 6th and 7th places, doing a solid job. Could they really come back into this towards the end of the race? Matt Meerkat now under real pressure from 10th Fear here on lap 4, and is Softcup going to try and break away from Matt Meerkat and allow these two to battle? 10th Fear in that McLaren Honda will be struggling a little bit for straight line speed, you would think, in that McLaren Honda, but of course we are running on equal cars. There should be no reason why that would be the case. But Carey still from Shimasi, and Ace of Pace and Technica swapping places, and I think Technica has made a small error there on the exit of what was that? That was the exit of Chapel, I believe, and through goes Ace of Pace, and ILR now sitting in a double podium position here. They will be really happy with that. And now what about Stocky? Can he line up Technica, who's looking a little bit vulnerable at the moment, a little bit out of sorts? And Stocky, he has been the man on the move, closing in on these two. And now can he get his McLaren into a position to make a move as they go into the loop? And it's all about getting a great run out of here. And look at Stocky running it right out to the edge of the racetrack, getting the throttle nice and early up through the gears. I don't think he's close enough to Technica, and the problem he has is Technica also has DRS to the car in front of him, and that creates the DRS trains that we're talking about, that we've seen in Tier 1, that we've seen in Tier 2, and that makes things very frustrating as Flores down the back end of the field sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right out of it, though really struggling. Those two Sauber drivers, a case of what might have been this afternoon, down in 13th and 14th places. They're going to do well to work their way back into the points from there. Skeeven in 15th, he's had a nightmare too. Sam Bamked in his debut, only 16th, and really beginning to struggle. But back to the action between Technica and Stocky here at Silverstone. Ace of Pace holding out in third, at Technica 4th, Stocky 5th. And interestingly now, Softcup keeping that gap around the 2.4 mark. He's doing a really good job there, Softcup, on those soft tyres. And I thought he would be continuing to drop off a little bit, but no, keeping it right in and around the 2 to 3 second mark. And if these guys in front start battling, there's a real possibility that Softcup could take home a podium this afternoon. So one to watch as Shimasi continues around 3.5 seconds away from Carey out front. Matt Meerkat then against 10th Fear. What about this little duel? 10th Fear on those super soft tyres really needs to find a way past them. He has to, because he's going to be vulnerable later on if he doesn't. Up behind Matt Meerkat, who runs a little bit wide in his pursuit of Softcup. Does that give 10th Fear an opportunity on the exit of the loop? Not yet, because Matt Meerkat, of course, as we said on the previous lap, has got the DRS to his advantage. A chance to defend and a chance to attack Softcup ahead, who does not have the DRS available to him. As we go to that wonderful overhead shot of the cars heading, funneling through that infield section. of Brooklands and Luffield. Oh, and that's Matt Meerkat running a little bit wide there. And now Tim Fear fancies a little bit of 7th place and a little bit of SRL. Dancing and ducking his way up behind him. Single file through there in most cases. And Ed really trying to make Matt Meerkat force him into a mistake. But look at the dirty air, and you can really see it unsettling Temp Fear through Nuggets and Beckett's. And yeah, he drops right off the back of Matt Meerkat. And all that momentum he had building up and building, the pressure mounted there, disappears. And all of a sudden, Matt Meerkat right back onto the tail of Softcop, who, yet again, holding it at 2.4 to the car in front. So is Matt Meerkat lining up a move on Softcop on this lap. Unlike the lap before, where Matt was defending from Temp, Softcop does not have DRS to defend here, so he's quite vulnerable. There's an opportunity here. It's Mercedes power against Mercedes power. It's quite an equal battle. Matt Meerkat nearly loses it on the exit there of turn 2, but thankfully he picks it back up, and whew, we can put our heart back into back where it belongs, back out of our mouths there, because that was going to be a humongous shunt if Matt Meerkat ended up going off into the wall. Ismail Marchetti, remember, 12th position at the moment, trying to climb his way back up after that early shunt with Jake Davis. So one TGP driver out of the Grand Prix, the other one outshining his performances thus far this season. The number 99 of Softcop, keeping Matt Meerkat at bay as we got a yellow flag. That's Skeeven, and he's pulling off to the left hand side, and well, I've said it before, Skeeven. Oh, we've got another Joe here. I'll come back to Skeeven in a moment. We've got Arctic Devils and Shortbread doing battle, and it looks like Shortbread is remaining in front for now, as we need to go back to Matt Meerkat. Softcop battling hard, but as I was saying with Skeeven, he either performs, he wins the race, he's on the podium, and if that doesn't happen, there's no in between. It's either in the top 3 or it's out of the Grand Prix, and that has been replicated in his SRL season this year. Only once, when he's finished a race, has he been outside of the podium, and every other time it's been a DNF. So there you go. If it's not happening for Skeeven, it doesn't happen at all. And unfortunately this afternoon he's going to get absolutely no points, nil point 0 from this Grand Prix. So Skeeven is out. We've lost Jake Davis as well on lap 8 out of 26 of this Grand Prix. It's been a slow burner so far, but you can't help but feel it's going to lighten up as the race goes on, because Shimasi now starting to eat into that advantage of carries out front. 2.9, gets it under the 3-second barrier briefly, and as the ILR driver starting to make his move, as we've got another yellow flag. Let's have a little look to try and find it. Let's not, as Arctic Devils drops down behind Ismail Marchetti and Chumas. He's had a poor lap as Arctic Devils, and look at Ismail Marchetti having a nightmare. Is that a lunge up the inside from Arctic Devils? It is. Is he through? Oh, very close racing between the two. Look at that. Ismail Marchetti, even with that damaged front wing, finds a way past Arctic Devils, fends him off for now. He's just made the move and then continues to hold on and moves ahead of Arctic Devils of the IF League and up into 11th. But look at the understeer he's suffering from there, right off the road, which we'll excuse him for. Really struggling with that front wing damage, and it's going to be a tough afternoon from there. It's all about his teammate this afternoon, picking up those points, you feel. Surely Arctic Devils is going to come back at him. No, in fact, look, Arctic Devils will get wing damage too. So, apologies Arctic, I thought you were being overtaken by a wounded car. Well, you're a fully functioning one. It appears not. You've got damage too. So a real struggle for those guys. If we go back to Softcop, and as Technica's coming in, he's the first of the Super Soft runners to stop. So let's go back up to Matt against Softcop. Softcop continuing to frustrate. We've seen him do that for a long period in Melbourne, loading up many cars as he went long on a set of medium tyres, and he's causing problems here again as Shimasi now slicing that gap and cutting it down, just as he did in that pre-season race in Bahrain, to just 2.4 seconds. Really coming alive here for the ILR, and the British fans aren't going anywhere. They want a home winner, remember, as Matt Meerkat homes in the back of Softcop. He has a look into Brooklands. The fans are on their feet over at Luffield corner, and Matt Meerkat again left frustrated, and he'll have to redouble his efforts if he wants to find a way past that silver arrow. And Softcop holding firm in the battle of the leading soft tyre runners. Remember, these guys coming from well down the field, 15th and 16th I believe it was, or no, sorry, not quite, 13th and 14th I think maybe. So they came from really far back, and Softcop at the moment, continuing to do a fine job of holding back Matt Meerkat. And interestingly, I said it was around 2.4 seconds. He's now starting to home in the back of Stocky on those super soft tyres. So is it a case that the soft tyre is the better tyre to start the race on? As your race leader pits, so Carey coming in for a stop. Shimasi going a little bit longer. He'll be hoping at the end of this Grand Prix on the fresher rubber he can take it to Carey. So for now he really needs to work at it. Stocky coming in as well. Will that potentially hold Carey? I think he's too far back to be doing that. As Carey comes in, the Williams mechanics put him up on the jacks and away he goes like clockwork. Super stop there, and away he goes down the pit lane. One of the slowest and longest pit lanes in the Formula 1 calendar. Initially they had planned to have the pit lane speed a little bit higher, but because it was quicker going that way around the final corner to the start finish line, because you miss out the final corner essentially, they had to reduce the speed. So Carey exiting the pits after that agonisingly slow trundle down the pit lane, and he comes out into some really clean air now, into 8th position as Shortbread does battle with Temp Fear. He's going to try and go the long way round. Can he get the slingshot out of the corner? Yes he can. Those super soft tyres starting to die. They're hitting the cliff, and Shortbread on the soft tyres goes alongside Temp Fear in the run down to Cops Corner. I said moments ago you can't go side by side here, and whoa, that was very nearly side by side. Shortbread completes the move, and Temp Fear on his crying super soft tyres is left to yield, and through up into 5th place goes Shortbread in the Toro Rosso, and dropping down is Temp Fear to 6th as Softcop and Matt Meerkat continue their race long duel. And Stocky obviously realised on that previous lap he was under some serious pressure from Softcop, and he had to come in and fit a set of medium tyres. Interestingly, I've just seen that there. Stocky's come in for a set of mediums down in 12th place, so we'll see how that works for him. But most drivers here appear to be going for the soft tyre as Temp Fear finally comes in, realising that Shortbread's overtaking him on softs, so it's time for a brand new set of boots. And it'll be interesting to see if he just decides to do the same thing as his teammate or split the strategy. So what are the boys in the UPL thinking as Temp Fear comes in? And that looks like a set of the soft tyre for Temp Fear, so a split strategy. Interesting to see how that works out as Gemso now moves up into 9th, Flores up into 8th. Those guys out of sync really. They're going to have to do a 2-stop, because interestingly at the end of that opening lap they went on to softs. They didn't think the mediums would last the whole 25 laps, so they'll be going softs and then going on to another set of super softs come at the end of this Grand Prix. But right now on lap 11 out of 26, it is an ILR 1-2. Of course Carey has made his stop, so he should resume the lead providing he has no issues. He has got an 8.3 cushion in front of him to Chumas, so there's a lot of clean air to work in and really maximise the fresher tyres that he's on at the moment. He needs to, of course, because Shimasi at the end will have the fresher tyres himself when he changes onto what I would feel would be a set of softs. And he's coming in now, so here comes Shimasi, ace of pace, forced to go a lap longer as they are both on super softs. In fact, no he's not, because there's a 5.4 gap, so they're cutting it fine. So this is why the teams work so hard on the pit stops on the Thursday, so hard in the pre-season, for things like this, not only to try and get the overcut and undercut, but to try and stack their cars together and maximise their team's performance over the weekend. So let's see how this works for them. Shimasi in, up onto the jacks, and away he goes onto the softs. Will Ace of Pace be left waiting? Oh, ever so slightly. It was a slight hold, but not too much, not too costly. And away he goes back down the pit lane with Softcop breathing down his neck. Onto a set of mediums goes Softcop then. So he's going soft medium. Strange strategy there. I'm a bit surprised by that. I thought he would have taken his softs a lot longer. Maybe it is a 2-stop, I'm not sure. Maybe this is a 2-stop race. I wasn't too sure. But I've seen a lot of the guys earlier on going for a 1-stop. Flores now moving up into 5th position. And Shimasi. Look how costly this is going to be for Shimasi. Look at this. Oh no. He's come out. Not in clean air at all. He's come out between the two Dutch drivers, and this could ruin his chances of victory for ILR here. Carey, quite a distance up the road now, 6.5 seconds ahead. He's really maximised those fresh tyres, and not only that, Shimasi is left it a lap too long, and he's now stuck behind Flores, and this is not at all what ILR would have wanted. And now Ace of Pace is going to be in a lot of traffic too. Around 1.8 behind Technica. So not at all what he'd have been hoping for. Matt Meerkat going a little bit longer still into this race, which is quite interesting. So can he get the jump on Softcop later on by stretching this stint out? It's lap 13, it's out of 26, it's a halfway stage. Matt Meerkat is your race leader. He's yet to stop though. Let's get the graphic up to show you who's stopped and who's not. There you go, the top three yet to stop. Matt Meerkat, Shortbread and Chumas going long from the soft tires they started on. Carey has been in, he is your net leader on those soft tires. Flores would be a net second, but we expect him to stop again as he came in at the end of the opening lap. Shimasi is, in theory, your net second place man, hoping to take the fight to Carey, but he can't because Flores is in his way on 12 lap old soft tyres, and Shimasi, quite simply, if he wants to be serious about challenging for the victory, has to complete the move immediately. So here we go then, right up behind the back of Flores, no way through into Brooklands. This could be frustrating, not the easiest of tracks to overtake on. It does have its straights, it does have double DRS, but the braking zones at the end of those straights are very, very shallow. They're not heavy braking zones where you can make late lunges, and that's what makes it difficult then. And coupled with, as you're about to see, it's very difficult to follow around these high speed corners. But Shimasi, to be fair to him, did a pretty good job going through there as they go through Maggis, and now Beckett's. Flores under some real pressure here. Shimasi right onto his tail as they come out of Chapel Corner. This is a real opportunity. He has to complete the move. Opens the DRS on that Renault car. Here we go then. Will he go to the inside on Flores? Side by side onto the brakes. Flores holds the inside. Shimasi tries to go right round the outside of him. He's forced out a road there. It was always going to be tough. And he's moved to the asphalt. Now he has a lucky look up the inside into the penultimate turn, and Shimasi again is thwarted, and the gap continues to open up between himself and Carey. And I have to say, Shimasi's only saving grace now is if Matt Meerkat, Shortbread and Chumas stay out even longer and start holding up Carey in a few laps time, but I cannot see that. If anything, they'll be in the next couple of laps. So thanks very much for everyone tuning in. Be sure to let us know who your driver of the day is. We like to know. We like to have a vote in the chat. We like to get you guys involved. Let us know your driver of the day. Very important to us. Right now, there's quite a few contenders. Carey doing a super job. Shimasi really coming to the fore here. Not seen some great pace from him up until this stage in the season, and finally starting to deliver now. Can he finally complete that move in Flores as that gap, as you can see on the left hand side of your screen, opens up now to around 7 seconds. It's beginning to look like a tall order. 12 laps left. Shimasi, it looks like his chances of victory are over, but as Murray Walker once said, if anything can happen in Formula 1, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. And yeah, there's every possibility that Carey could run into problems himself, and here we go. This is a perfect example. A variable like this as he follows Chumas round the final couple of corners, and as I thought he might, oh, he's not coming in. He's opening the door. Well, there you go. Through goes Carey. And unfortunately for Shimasi, Flores is not interested in doing the same. Well, there you go. That's what the drivers are like. Some people want to let their other people through because it's not in their own interests. It's not in Chumas's interest. He's not fighting Carey, so why bother dealing with him? Flores, on the other hand, is fully intent on keeping that Renault car behind. But at the moment, to be fair, that Renault of Shimasi has not really forced Flores into any proper defensive moves. It might this time though, because Shimasi looks like he's getting a great run out of the loop and down at that Wellington straight. The DRS open again, and Flores is under pressure. This time he does move to the inside. Can Shimasi no, he can't. Have a look. Flores moving back to the racing line, and doesn't feel the need to get any more defensive than he was. And you just get a feeling, and this is just a general, it might be a stereotype, it might be controversial to say this, but I just get an impression that the Dutch drivers, even if it's their race or not, to fight this one, they are determined at all costs to fight to the very end, regardless of it is. You see that from Max Verstappen, and so far from Flores and Gemso in this race, and even last week when they were battling so hard. They've got that ruthlessness about them, that they're just not interested in giving up a position. And again, you're seeing that being played out here. Lap 15 then out of 26, and Matt Meerkat still going long on those softs. Shortbread doing likewise, around 4.5 seconds back. Then it's Carey in third position with Chumas in fourth. Flores is fifth, and Shimasi now around 3/10 back, and surely thinking about a move pretty soon. Flores, I would think, he's not going to take those softs to the end. I would like to think he's going to come in for a set of super softs. I don't think they will last the whole distance. And Shimasi getting closer and closer as Flores begins to run out of grip now. He's getting closer as the laps tick by. Flores defends to the inside. Shimasi tries to fluster him, go to the outside. This time he will have a chance. Flores felt the need to get... Oh no, he's damaged his wing. Shimasi damages the wing. He was about to make the move there on Flores. I was certain. Flores felt the need to go defensive to the inside, and that was definitely going to allow Shimasi a run up the inside going into Brooklands. As a result, he killed the momentum. He hit Flores on the exit of the corner, damaged his wing, and this is going to be a limp home now for Shimasi if he wants to finish in second. And that is not at all what ILR would have been hoping for. Shimasi in the wars here and damaging that wing, and especially on a racetrack like this, not what you want. And he's already prey to Jameso, who comes straight past him and moves up into 6th position. Will these Dutch drivers pit? I would like to think they will. Surely they'll be coming in. And I would be very surprised if they do not, if they can take them the whole distance. But look at that, Matt Meerkat and Shopred making a move there. Yep, Shopred lets Carey go, I would think. I've never seen it, but it would have been textbook stuff, I think, for Carey. He's really making light work of these cars. And next up on his radar will be Matt Meerkat. We wait for the pit stops for Matt Meerkat and Shopred. Chumas finally makes the call to make a stop. We're going to start realising the order here. Shimasi's felt the need to come in for a stop after that front wing damage, as has Flores. So those guys coming into the pits, and now it's going to be a straight battle between Flores and Shimasi. They've been battling all the way till now, and they're both going to come in for a fresh set of super soft tyres, and that will allow Chumas to get ahead of them. He would have been behind them, but they will now have that advantage on those super soft tyres as these pit stops start to be made, and we get a better idea of the order that we have. So Matt Meerkat still leading, Shortbread still to stop, but Carey is the net leader here and looking pretty strong for the victory. Technica, interestingly now, up into 5th ahead of Ace of Pace, who's been struggling to keep pace with Technica. So it looks to me like it's going to be Carey leading, and after Jameso pits and Shortbread pits and Matt Meerkat, it will be Technica looking good for second and Ace of Pace third, with Stocky unable to make it back-to-back podiums with 4th. That's what it currently looks like. But then again, the likes of Flores, Chumas coming through on those super soft tyres. It might be an ever-changing story as the laps tick by, as Matt Meerkat finally makes the call for a pit stop. So Matt Meerkat in, that gives Carey the lead of the race, and the Spanish fans, a good contingent of them, came over for this Grand Prix, and they're being rewarded. They've seen, well, they were hoping for victory last time out in Spain. They looked like they had it in their grasp, and then it just slowly faded away, and the Dutch drivers swept in to take it. This would be the perfect way to bounce back and consolidate that lead they have in the world, the championship, the world championship here in ULC. And with SML McCarry, Carey's teammate, not scoring well at the moment, it's absolutely vital that Carey brings home the bacon, and right now he's doing a stellar job. And he looks set for the victory. Pole position. And he's now going for the victory. Can he get the hat-trick? Is it pole position, fastest lap? It is at the moment. If you look at your screen on the left-hand side, he's going for the Grand Slam, the hat-trick, the pole, the fastest lap, the race win. And Carey is a man on a mission at the moment, looking very, very comfortable out in front. He's got a 12.7 lead now to Chumas in 2nd position. And Ace of Pace runs in 3rd place. Looking good for that podium. He'll have to keep his wits about him though, because Stocky and Softcop are not too far back, and Tempy are looking at the back of Softcop, who interestingly went for those medium tyres, as you can now see. So Tempy, can he move up maybe into the top 4? He's on the softs, Stocky and Softy on the mediums, a real possibility. So he's lining up now for a move, and right behind them is Matt Meerkat. So this looks like the battle to watch on track at the moment. Meanwhile, 9th and 10th, Shortbread and Flores are doing battle, but this is the one that is really starting to take shape and looking like the best action on the racetrack at the moment. All the fans in the grandstand being treated to some action. That's a late lunge from 10th. That was silly. That was absolutely ludicrous. And he forces Softcup off the road. Surely that is going to be a penalty of some sort come the end of the race. It was just far too rash, far too late on the brakes, and he literally pushed Softcup off the road, damaged his wing as well, so double trouble for Softy. And Temp, in his haste to get by, is surely going to receive a time penalty or a penalty of some sort. I should also note, by the way, that Gemso last time in Spain received a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Technica near the end of the Grand Prix, for anyone that wasn't aware. So I expect penalties to be handed out, and I'd like to think the stewards are going to hand one out for that, because that was just ludicrous from Temp Fear up the inside of Softcup, who is now going to be under real threat on those mediums with a damaged wing from the charging Flores, Shot Red, and even Chumas as well, as the battle really starting to take shape here. And Gemso, Chumas all battling as the Dutch lads trying to find their way back up through the field. SML Marchetti as well, all trying to find their way back up through the field. All major front runners in qualifying, having a bit of a nightmare race. And look at that, SML Marchetti, slight damage on that right hand end plate. Under pressure here, we'll look from behind as Gemso snatches the place, takes the 10th place away. Holland v Spain, and Spain, unlike the World Cup final of 2010, lose out here, and through goes Gemso, and through goes Chumas as well on the wounded SML Marchetti, damaged wing and old medium tyres, no match. And through he goes as Matt Meerkat now lines up Temp Fear in the battle for 5th and 6th. It's all coming alive in the lower reaches of the field. Matt Meerkat right up behind Temp Fear as they go through turn 1 and 2. Is he going to have a lunge into the loop section? He tags for the inside. Oh, and he pushes him off. And Temp Fear getting a taste of his own medicine there, has to be said. He did it to Softcup, and Matt Meerkat says, okay, you did it to Softy, how do you like it? And he nerfs him into a small slide. No damage done, no major damage done. The only damage done is 5th becomes 6th for Temp Fear as the battle rages on, as we now watch Gemso attack the back of Shot Red in the battle for 8th and 9th position. Gemso really starting to make some inroads. Flores will fancy a look at Temp Fear, I would think. Oh, 7 seconds back. Can he take a second and a bit out of Temp on those super softs in the closing laps? Oh, Gemso side by side, touching wheels with Shot Red there, and they go side by side through Copse Corner, and off the track goes Shot Red. Surely he's going to have to concede. That would be gaining an advantage by running wide there and holding on. And he does concede, and Gemso moves up into 8th place. Great battling there. Great to see them through the high-speed sections of racetrack, battling hard, side by side, banging wheels through Woodcut. And then through Copse Corner, Gemso, through he went. And the Dutch drivers now, in their damage limitation charge back through the field, up into 7th and 8th places. So, a good recovery drive from those two so far. But lap 21 out of 26, and what's been a comfortable race for Carey. He's managed it beautifully. He's now opened that gap up to 13 seconds. No one has had an answer for him in this second stint on the soft tyre. It might have been different had Shumasi not been caught behind Flores earlier on. But Carey has put in a stunning performance for the championship leaders. And SML looking good here for their first victory of the season, by the way, which is slightly surprising as they are in the championship lead. They failed to win in the opening 2 rounds, but they look like they're going to flex their muscles here at Silverstone and pick up a victory for the first time. Carey 13 seconds ahead of Technica in second of Straight Line Racing, who's put in another solid performance. Ace of Pace looks like getting a podium for the first time for ILR this season. Stocky unable to go back to back on the podiums in 4th. Matt Meerkat in 5th. He's in a fantastic race, Matt Meerkat, from way down the field. A woeful qualifying, a real contender for driver of the day, the way he's battled back up into 5th place. Let's have a look there, up 11 places. That's superb. Doesn't quite eclipse what we've seen last week from Flores, but it's pretty impressive stuff from Matt Meerkat. He's 5th at the moment. Then we've got Temp Fear and 6th on those softs. Really under pressure from Flores. He's already sliced that gap down to around 3.7 seconds, and it's only a matter of time, you feel, before Flores catches Temp Fear in the closing laps. Gemso then, he's in 8th position. Shot Red 9th, and Chumas rounding out the top 10. Shumasi with his front wing damage outside the points. Can he make his way into those points in the closing exchanges? It's going to be a tough call. Marchetti had a nightmare after the early bump with Jake that took him out on the opening lap, and Jake of course out of the Grand Prix completely. Sam Banker on his debut running in 13th, Softcup in 14th after that questionable bump from Temp Fear at the very least, you have to say. He's going to surely take that to the stewards. Arctic Devils on his debut in 15th, right down at the back. We lost Skeevan early on, mechanical maybe, or maybe just had enough from a forgettable afternoon in 16th, and Jake Davis, as I mentioned, out at the start. We've got 4.5 laps to go, and it's Carey in control, but Matt Meerkat, the man to watch now, right onto the tail of Stocky. Is he going to find a way through? Look how close he is going through Magus and Beckett's. What does he know about dirty air? Absolutely nothing. He's defying the laws of physics as he closes onto the back of Stocky, or maybe it's just those super soft tyres working so well as he now targets what would be a memorable 4th place. It's been a fantastic drive from the Force India driver right onto the tail of the UPL. Man, Stocky ahead. Stocky defending to the inside, and there's the lunge for Matt Meerkat. He does attempt fear, and thankfully there is no collision, and he gets away with it. And as I said earlier on in the broadcast, earlier on at the top of the show, it's so tough to make a move in those DRS zones, as it's shallow, narrow braking zones. And as you've seen there where Matt Meerkat tried it, it's not, it's quite a heavy braking zone, and you can make a move there, but sometimes it ends in tears, as we've seen with Ted Fear and Softcut. Now he's got a chance. Matt Meerkat lined it up beautifully coming out of there. It was stunning driving on the exit, setting up play, absolutely bang on. He opens the DRS, he goes side by side with the McLaren Honda. He's surely going to swoop past and move up into 4th place and make that 12 places made up here this afternoon from the SRL driver. Surely a shoe-in for driver of the day. It's been magnificent from him, and he puts one over on Stocky. Lovely move, as I said, set it up beautifully coming out of the loop, slingshotting out of there and completing the move down into Brooklands. And yep, the Force India fans absolutely loving that. The garage down in the Supreme Racing League, they've not had much to cheer about this afternoon with Skeevan in the wars, but a great result there. But Matt Meerkat now picking up a penalty, interestingly, so that's not what he wants to be happening, and now he will be vulnerable to others behind. I'm going to have a quick look in a few moments time. In fact, I'm going to do it now because a little bit of a lull in the action at the penalty count. Let's see who has got penalties, who has not. A lot of warnings out there. We've got a 3 second for Softcut. He's out the points, so Marchetti out the points as well. Not really important. Matt Meerkat's already had 3 seconds. Sam Badman out the points. Let's not worry about that. Stocky's got 3, so they're actually equal. If he's got another 3, that could be issues. Arctic Devils out the points. Gemzo's got 3 to his name as well. Shopbread 2. And Sam Badman, not, yep, Arctic. And Shimasi's picked 1 up as well. He's just outside the fringes of the points. Flores has got 1. I think that's that. I think Matt Meerkat's got 2 or 3 penalties then, so not looking good for him on the grand scheme of things, as Sam Bad Kid picks up yet another penalty as Carey cruises out front. Interestingly though, Technica, whether it's relevant or not, I don't know if it's cruising out front as Carey, I don't know. But Technica able to pin that gap at around 13.5 seconds, doing a good job actually of keeping them there, as Genzo now onto the tail of Temp Fear, going side by side. Temp Fear already been passed by Flores, and now Gemzo goes past as well. Temp Fear on those soft tires, look at the state of them, absolutely finished. And the 2 Dutch drivers up into 6th and 7th now. And okay, they missed the first race, they joined late into the second race and put on a show. They've had to recover here today, but they have really shown to us that they are major contenders for this championship, going by the pace that they've shown. If they can just keep out of incidents, they look very, very solid indeed. But nobody at the moment can stop Carey, can stop the Spaniards. They're going to extend their championship advantage by the looks of it, leaving here, even with Marchetti out of the points. No other league able to put a solid double finish in the top 5 together, and that is what's costing everyone else. Even when SMR Marchetti slips up, it's looking good for the Spaniards. So Chumas and Shotbread, let's have a look at there. That looks like the next main battle. A chance for Chumas to double his points haul by overtaking Shotbread, and half Shotbread's down to just the 1 point. Is that a little bit too late? Quite possibly. As the laps tick by here. And we are now on the penultimate lap, and Carey looking good for the victory. He's been absolutely magnificent and looking all set for a fantastic victory. The 3 at the front, it's Carey, Technica and Asa Pace, and then it's Matt Meerkat in 4th. Superb drive from him. Penalties might drop him down a few places though. If you discount the penalties in my driver of the day, I'll wait to the end of the race when the penalties shuffle themselves out. But right now, Matt Meerkat's put in an eye-catching performance with that long first stint. Gemzo and Flores, some good recovery drives there as well. And yeah, not to mention the recovery drive that Ismail McKerry put in, but it's just all went wrong for him on the medium tyre. Maybe with hindsight should have went for that two-stop strategy. Not worked out for him as Chumis now really starts to home in the back of Shortbread, who I think showed me there is disconnecting. Has he disconnected? I think he's okay. Still there as 10th gear on those softs, really struggling now. He might be prey to those two come the finish, maybe even those three, because Shimasi fancies a point too in the closing stages. So this is one to keep an eye on. As Chumis now gets onto the tail of Shortbread, and Shortbread on the tail of 10th gear. You've got to feel 10th gear's a sitting duck here with that damaged front wing, and severely hampering tyres, severely damaged tyres, starting to green. Yeah, remember to send your questions in as well for the podium finishers, folks. Kari, Technica and Ace of Pace await your questions as Shortbread continues to get close, but they need to go back here to Kari, who's heading round Stowe Corner in the Williams. The Spanish are going to spoil the British party here today. Their own party was spoiled by the Dutch this week. They're going to have one here at Silverstone today. No British winner on home soil. The Spaniards win for the first time this season. They extend their championship lead. A wonderful drive from Kari to take the title. It's looking good for Technica in second, but look at the duel we have here. 4 cars all wanting the same piece of track, all wanting that 8th place. Damage there for one of the Haas cars. Who was that dropping down? Chumas, I think. And looks like 10th gear will weather the storm, but meanwhile Shortbread going side by side with Shimasi, who's looking to salvage a few points. He's going to do it. 11th at the start of the lap. He's up to 9th now. Chumas is not finished. He's going to come back at Shortbread in the final turn, is he? No, he is not. And across the line they will come, with 10th gear clinging on in the end on those tyres when he was right up against it. He's 8th, Shimasi's 9th, and Shortbread sees the line in 10th. Well, not a classic, but it was a good race. There were some good battles out there to be had, to be watched. McKerry's forgettable weekend ends in 12th, and he makes his feelings felt as he crosses the line there, bashing into the wall. Sam Van Kid's going to be 13th. The rest have seen the flag, but it is Kari with a wonderful drive. Look at that. He stopped at the side of the road. Probably have done a few donuts, I think, down there. Fantastic performance from him. Kari wins in style by a full 15 seconds. He leaves Technica behind in second, with Ace of Pace picking up ILR's first podium in third. So, Ollie, you've joined us. You'll be doing the. I take it you're doing the podium interviews, my friend.
Yeah, I've got some social media stuff. That was a fantastic race, if I do say so. That was really intense. I was looking on along with all the viewers, and that was a really intense one.
Yeah, it was. It was a cracker. As here's Kari lifting the trophy, the champagne being sprayed for the first time on the top step of the podium for the Spaniards. A fantastic weekend for him. Not so for his teammate with no points, but they will still walk away from here extending their championship advantage. So there you go, Kari wins the Grand Prix. Fantastic performance. There's the quick rundown then. Kari wins from Technica in second. Ace of Pace brought it home in third. Stocky, a brilliant fourth, not quite able to replicate that podium from last week. Ace of Pace, he'll be delighted with that third place. ILR finally getting a podium. Matt Meerkat in fifth, what a drive from him. My driver of the day, even with his penalties, brought it home in fifth, up 11 places. Superb performance there. The recovery drive from the two Dutch drivers who'd sustained front wing damage was also superb. A big mention to them. Sixth and 7th for Gemzo and Flores. 10th here brought it home in 8th. There'll be questions asked about some of his driving it later on, I think, after he bars into the side of Soft Cup. Chumas was 9th, and the 10th place went to Shimasi, who got another point for ILR. The rest of them missed out. That was Shortbread, Marquetti, Sam Bamcad, Soft Cup, Arctic Devils, and the rest did not finish. So we're going to now take a brief break here. We're going to try and get these guys into the chat, the top 3 drivers, for some podium interviews. So, while we wait on everyone else, the 3 podium drivers joining us, Ollie, I want to ask you briefly. You're not well, but didn't want to be shouting like crazy after that one, so we'll give you a more chilled roll. Let's ask you then. How do you review the race, Ollie? Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I really did. You know, there was some real good drama throughout the field. I was watching along, and obviously early on there was that massive crash that took out Marchetti, which was then showcasing him. Gemzoa fell down. Both Salvas, in fact, fell down pretty late early on. Kari and Shimasi, I mean, that first pit stop from Kari was absolutely crucial. If he wouldn't have made that pit stop, I don't think he would have won. The pace that Shimasi was gaining, but that pit stop was crucial, and Shimasi obviously got held up by the Salvas, which ultimately cost him. I know you're mentioning drivers of the day, and you mentioned Mac Meerkat, and I would have given it to him if it wasn't for penalties, but I'm going to give, for me, driver of the day goes to Ace of Pace. Started, I think, 11th to a podium, not a single penalty to his name. It's a very respectable performance when a track like Silverstone, where it's really tempting to not pick up a single penalty, I think he deserved that podium.
Well, okay, a little bit of a dispute in the commentary box between us two on Driver of the Day, but sure, folks, get your questions in. We want to hear what you want to ask us for the podium interviews, and not only that, let us know who you feel was the Driver of the Day. We've got an argument in the commentary box, we've got a dispute, we disagree. How about you guys settle it for us, and then we can really decide who is the Driver of the Day. So how many people have we got in here so far? Is it just Ace of Pace that's joined us?
Available to him.
Okay, so we will not hear from Technica. We're waiting now for Kari. Hopefully the Spaniard will join us. But yeah, enjoyed the race. I'd say the Spanish Grand Prix just eclipsed it though. I mean, that was a cracker, wasn't it, Spain? You'll never beat that one.
I do not know who is gonna top Florence's performance from last week.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant performance from Flores last week. Again, they came through the field brilliantly this week as Kari now joins us, and as I'll just repeat that, we will not hear from Technica, folks. There will be nothing from him. He does not have a mic. So Ollie, I'm going to leave it over to you, mate. On you go. Take it away with some questions.
Well, first of all, we'll start off with Kari. What a performance that was, my friend. I mean, over at Australia, you was really desperate for that win. You was unable to get it. You showed some really good pace in pre-season, but finally you've got yourself on the top step. It's a fantastic performance. How do you feel?
Fantastic, yeah. It was a shame that my teammate couldn't finish in the points and get away from the other teams, but yeah, at least I can get the win for the team, and let's see. Yes.
Yeah, we've got some questions here from the chat. Someone says, do you think your team can win the championship after this race?
We have to wait till the end of the season. We've started very well, but they are really good people here, and we have to keep concentrate until the final of the championship.
I don't want to underestimate your performance. Obviously, you was very much untested. Did you find it easy out there, or was it still quite nerve-wracking? Obviously, with such a high amount of people watching you, did you feel the nerves out there?
Not nervous. I mean, the Gemsov, I think, was really fast on the straight, and in the first 2 or 3 laps I had to defend in almost every corner, but then I don't know what happened to him, and he pitted, and then Shimasi was like taking my advantage, but then yeah, he pitted 2 laps before than me, so nothing happened, and then I'll go.
Ricky TH come in and ask quickly, did you get your Alonso deck chair out? You was that far ahead.
Can you repeat, please?
Did you get your Alonso deck chair out? You was that far ahead.
I don't understand the question, sorry.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but you remember when Alonso got the chair out and sunbathed?
No.
Yeah, someone thought you had enough time to do that. Finally, as well, I just want to quickly mention Marchetti had an incident early on. Have you been able to speak to him? Is there any news on what happened with him early on?
Yes, I was talking with him, but he always said to me that he crashed with some people and then he had to pit at lap 3, and yes, he put mediums also, so he couldn't have any pace.
Well, thank you for great performance Sekari, a well-deserved winner there. Your British Grand Prix winner. Move on to Ace of Pace, who is my driver of the day, maybe not Andy's, but Ace of Pace, a fantastic performance. You started lower down in the field, but you made your way through. A really mature drive from there. When Shemasi and you were looking like you could get a double podium at one stage, I mean, he showed a little lack of maturity by making mistakes, but you really got your head down and performed well.
Yeah, it was a shame what happened to Shemasi. He had a great pace, for sure. He was a lot faster than me in the beginning. To me, it was just about tire management after getting through the first couple of laps. There was a lot of stuff happening, so I was lucky to get through there. And then not really much happening for the rest of the race, just trying to get to the finish.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you was pretty much similar to Kari. There wasn't much going for you at certain points, but sometimes that is the most important sort of race you were going to have. Somebody's asked the question. I believe you might be supporting the Spaniards. He said, "Are you scared of the Spaniards?"
Nah, not at all.
No one's scared. I mean, as well, I'll ask a similar question to Kari. What about your constructors' aim? Because you and Shemasi have shown some really consistent pace, and do you think you can still challenge this? I mean, it's not late on or only 3 rounds in, but do you feel like you can challenge this this season for a potential constructors' championship?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I think for me, it's mainly about improving my qualifying pace. I think I'll be able to be up there then. And for Shemasi, he I guess needs to get lucky sometime because he's got a really good pace. So I'm sure he'll pick up good points for us in the future.
I'll quickly ask as well. When you qualified down there, did you expect to get a podium from this race at any point?
No, I mean my racecraft has been really good this season so far, and the last couple of races I started quite far down as well. So for me, it's just the same approach. Try not to crash, stay out of trouble, take it easy. You know, no one wins the race on the first lap, so that's just the mentality I went in with.
Well, Andy, have you got any questions for the lads?
Well, not really. No, I mean you've covered most of the bases, but yeah, a fantastic performance from Kari. Well done, Kari. Fantastic first win of the season. You must be really happy, Kari. Finally, you guys lead the championship, but finally the first win as well. So a lot of near misses. You must be relieved to finally get the win on the board.
Yes, absolutely. Although the qualifying wasn't as good as expected, but somehow I still got the pole position because I had to do the lap in the second attempt because got in by late, but then I had more tire wear than expected because I did 2 laps, and I had to beat at lap 9. But yeah, as I say, Shemasi pitted at lap 11, so he got stuck behind Flores, and then yes.
Yeah, that was the key to the race victory. It made things a lot easier for you, Kari. I think you were looking good though. I think you had the pace to hold on. It would have been interesting. It would have been good to watch had Shemasi cleared Flores. But well done, Kari. Kari, one final question from me. In qualifying, how much more time do you think you had? How much quicker could you have went?
Well, in AOR, so yeah. I did 26.6. Yeah. So maybe
3 tenths.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Ominous stuff then for the rest of the field as we go to the next Grand Prix. It's going to be really tough to catch those Spaniards, Ollie, isn't it? Can you see anyone catching them, or do you think they're just too strong?
I don't know. It depends, really. It depends. I mean, we saw in Australia, Skeven stepped up, and Shemasi looked like he might step up, and the Dutchman as well last week. We thought they'd be the real challengers. I think it's just a consistency of the Spaniards. You know, everyone else seems to crumble around them, whereas they just always seem to put in a performance that's worthy of a race win.
Yeah, and if it's not a race win, they're always on at the podium. So there you go. Fantastic stuff from the Spanish team. And Ace of Pace, I've got to ask you, IOR, they've got the first podium now. Can we get the first win on the board soon? Shemasi's looking threatening. You were running right behind him in the early stages. What can you do next time out?
Yeah, for sure. I think Shemasi has a great pace, as I said earlier. And for me, it's about qualifying better than the chances there, because my racecraft has been quite good this season. So yeah, just getting closer to the Spaniards at the front, I think I can challenge them.
Well, it's all about qualifying next time out because we are heading to the Hungaroring, so qualifying will be crucial around there. I've got to ask you guys quickly before you go, the Hungarian circuit, does it suit you, Carrie, first of all? Does it suit you, Hungary? Do you think you can get a good result there? Are you fast there?
Yeah, well, I think it's a really technique track.
Yeah.
You have to be good with the wheel. So I think I can be, and I can have a good day there, but we'll see.
An ace of pace. What do you think? Is Hungary a strong circuit for you?
Yeah, for me personally, I think it's a strong circuit. So yeah, just again that qualifying right, I think I'll get that.
Well, there you go. We'll find out just how strong they are when we arrive next week at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, it promises to be an absolute cracker. 8:30 next week, the Hungaroring in Budapest. Be sure to join us there. Ollie will be with you. I don't think I can make it. I'm going to tell you that now. So I'm not sure what will happen with that. But
looks like it's a solo job.
It's a solo job. Yeah. So we'll see you guys later. I'll not see you next week, but Ollie sure will. It's the Hungarian Grand Prix next week, 8:30 on the Tuesday night. Goodbye.